Welcome back to another hour of Scotch Hour. I'm Noah.
And I'm Jesse.
All right, hopefully everyone had a wonderful week. I think we have a great lineup here tonight. We have the Glenmorangie, A Tale of Winter. So we are continuing on the tales. And I think it's appropriate. We are heading into the winter season anyways. I've got Christmas coming up, and then we have the winter solstice coming up and all that. So why not tell winter, right?
And there's supposed to be a wild snowstorm rolling through the state tomorrow.
Tomorrow, really? Yeah. Oh, man.
Up to a foot of snow in the mountains.
Well, hopefully it doesn't hit the city all that bad. It's
supposed to hit everything like Wyoming, California. Nevada's apparently been dumped on already.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be good for the ski slopes, I would think. And then from there, after we meander beyond the tale of winter, we'll go into our shout-outs and get-it-togethers. And then our restaurant review of Brewery Bar 3, which I have no idea why it's a brewery bar, but we'll discuss that at that point. And then our Smarter Challenge being, I guess, a review of the TV series Wednesday.
Yes.
Which I totally dug.
Awesome.
Scotch Reviewed.
The Glenmorangie, A Tale of Winter.
All right, so just a couple brief reminders. We've had Glenmorangie on our show. Fortunately, some great Glenmorangie scotches on our show. They've been crafting single malt scotches since 1843 when farmer William Matheson and his wife Anne followed their dreams and founded the distillery. A couple big notes that it must not be forgotten. Their water source. The water is unusually rich in minerals, which help to make the whiskey so fruity. They own and protect the entire forest surrounding the Tarlogie Springs where their water source is, and they keep that water pure. One of the things about the barley they only use Scottish grown barley, and they do that to maintain the integrity of their malt. So 100% Scottish grown barley, including grain from their own fields. Couple other things about them. They have the luxurious boutique hotel, which was an old 17th century castle that they have refurbished and turned into a 5-star hotel. I would love to stay there someday, rather soon than later.
Oh, yeah.
Their spirit animal, the giraffe.
Put it in the hole. Hey, did you see that label? No.
Hey, let's see. Is there a giraffe? There's no giraffe in this one.
Oh, no giraffe. So there's no hole to put it through?
No hole to put the giraffe.
Sorry, that was a shout out to Brian last 2 weeks ago there.
All right. So did you want to mention a bit about the tours?
Well, they have one tour there, and it's I know I said it off of memory just a moment ago, but basically it's what $23.67.
Classic tour, 1 hour, 2 drams, and dirt cheap. That's all you need to know.
Exactly. All you need is the airfare there, really.
Yeah, right. Merely a flesh wound. Take my arm.
And apparently, in this tale of winter here, Dr. Bill took 13-year whiskey and finished it with ex-Marsala casks from Sicily, and the combo is supposed to help you imagine the snug, magical feeling of sitting in front of a fireplace as snow blankets the world outside. Well, I think it sounds very appropriate if we have a huge snowstorm rolling in here.
Yeah. I am curious, though. I'm trying to figure out, it must be somewhat smoky if it's got that swirling of flurry of winter aromas and flavors, because that is something I do associate with winter.
Yeah, and the other thing I kind of associate with winter is mulled wines. I mean, I remember being honestly, I remember being in Germany, right there. I think it was November-ish or something like that, in the foot walking mall area in Nuremberg, and drinking some mulled wine and stuff like that. Mulled wine has a distinct flavor, and that's that Christmas type spices that I always think of. And they do this is the sweater edition, right? This is a yearly edition apparently.
Yeah.
And let's try this out, man.
I'm excited. I do have to say, I want to say that the box itself is pretty fantastic, much was 2 weeks ago's box from A Tale of the Forest. Here, the sweater, and it's probably pretty hard to see on the screen, but it is actually woven even on the box. There is texture with the sweater.
Isn't there actually a real life sweater too? Like some people were able, like if you got it early enough, you get the sweater along with the box.
I'm pretty sure they were able to, and it's fantastic. The colors are great. I love the fact that, should you be buying a case at a time, you can put all four next to each other and get all four sides of the box, and they are great. Glenmorangie has done a really nice job not spending a fortune on a box that still is very enticing. And whether or not you're in a state that has winter, you can probably enjoy this scotch, but very much so could you enjoy this scotch, I imagine, in a cold winter day in front of a fireplace wearing a sweater, soon to be nothing at all, right? You got the bearskin rug. It's about all you need: a fire and a bearskin rug and a bottle of Glenmorangie, A Tale of Winter.
So, and I think I forgot to mention, it does have ex-bourbon casks as well, and it's 46 ABV.
46% ABV, not light on the palate.
No. All right.
Let's do this.
Let's do it. Open it up and let's see what this sweater bottle looks like.
I was looking for the giraffe, just the hole.
Just the hole, no giraffe. Okay.
All right.
Ooh, you can kind of tell from like the color is, like it comes from like some nice looking casks. Probably has that nice dark color.
Yeah, it is definitely not light in color. Fantastic. Again, the bottle, much like A Tale of the Forest, just like the box, textured colors, gloss and matte. It's fantastic.
I wonder if the Marsala is going to give it like a hint of sweetness. Those Marsala casks.
I hope so. Not too much, just a hint. All right. I'm almost like sad to open this up because that's the beginning of the end of winter.
Well, this is a limited edition, I believe. If you're still able to find it in the stores, they're going up over $100 a bottle right now. I was lucky; I found this one here at Daveco in Thornton. I think it's Thornton. And they only had 2 bottles left. I think they're each $99 on sale. I think they're just trying to get rid of it because of the Tale of Winter or the Tale of Forest was already in stock.
All right, without further ado, their normal high quality labels, materials.
Still plastic.
Still plastic, but at least they've got some detail on the top of the cork. Real cork and real noise.
Ooh, I like the color.
Color is fantastic.
You can even smell it already. All right, time for Warp Speed and our tasting notes. Cheers.
Cheers. Life is great.
This Glenmorangie Tale of Winter, and you know what? I think we, oddly enough, I think we did a phenomenal job of introducing the tale of the forest when we did, and I think this is also a great introduction now as the weather is cold. We have a snowstorm coming in. This Tale of Winter, it is something I can see. Like if we had a fireplace here. This would be one, like, this would be like, yeah, in my perfect world, right? I would be sitting in like a nice, probably big, like a nice, like velvet or maybe a leather chair with like an ottoman with like a dog sitting next to me.
Oh man, you got a dog.
And a fireplace going. And you're sipping on a nice warm scotch on a nice cold wintry day where it's snowing outside and you're just like looking out the window watching the snow fall.
So, like, most likely how the end of John Wick will be pictured.
I don't know. Is that how it's pictured?
That's how I see it. John Wick with his dog. So he'd be drinking some Blantons, of course. But John Wick with his dog Blantons, a massive 16-foot by 12-foot fireplace, and definitely some badass chair.
And I'm talking like a real fireplace, like with the real wood burning, not like the gas stuff. This really is a great Scotch for winter. And I kind of joked earlier when I was talking. Well, I wasn't really joking, but I was mentioning earlier about my time in Germany was like kind of close to winter time, and talking about the mulled wine and stuff like that when I was reading that description. And to first start off, the color here I put down as like a dark copper color, or dirty copper. I love the coloring. I think we both agree, like we like the darker colored scotches. And I think what really helps bring out this color is like the ex-bourbon and the ex-Marsala casks. But going back to the spices from Nuremberg, drinking the mulled wine there in the Fußgängerzone, which is like the walking mall area. It has like that nice like Christmas spices going on there with the sweetness. So when I first was like exploring the bouquet of this particular Scotch, I was getting like spiced apple cider, graham cracker, some raisin, and once again that Christmas spice. But then when I put it in my hand and I kind of warmed it up and stuff like that and smelled it, it reminded me of pie dough. So every year, like my mom, right around Christmas time, she'll make these cranberry dumplings, and she'll make like apple pies and stuff like that, and she makes her own dough. And like that smell of that dough when she's making it, it kind of reminded me of that smell too. So I think it just totally reminds you of like the holidays and then Christmas and in winter in general, when you smell this Scotch, which makes it really inviting to want to drink it. Now, when it comes to the palate, first of all, it's a medium bodied Scotch. So it's not one of these ones where like it hits your mouth and it disappears. It goes into your mouth. And normally I would say creamy, but this one to me is not quite creamy. It's more velvety. It fills your mouth, and it feels like it's really velvety, and it coats your mouth really nicely. And here I'm picking up, once again, from the moment I like it hits my tongue and at the tip, like right there in the front palate, I'm getting that nice, like maybe candied fruit sweetness, which is honestly like really enjoyable. And then it follows up with some raisin and some winter spice. And my finish, I'm still picking up like even the sweetness kind of carries through all the way through. And the sweetness, you get like the sweetness from the Marsala there. Like I'm picking up more on my finish. But then you're also getting that nice lingering spice. And I love this. It's a great addition. And I wish I would have picked up that other bottle.
I mean, there might still be time.
There might be. Occasionally, I found a place that actually has like 6 of them still. But they are more than $99.
Yeah.
But not by much.
99 problems.
But this ain't one. All right, man. What do you want to share with this one?
Once again, you've outdone yourself by selecting the Scotch. And I think it was only right that we took a week to go from the Glenmorangie, A Tale of Forest, to our Stone Land Cask, and now back up to Glenmorangie, A Tale of Winter. As you mentioned, it's a Highland single malt Scotch whiskey, aged 13 plus years. 46% ABV, and you cannot tell because... it is, I'm going to actually say it's smooth. Now, I do have a question.
Smooth criminal.
That's right. Now, you mentioned mulled wine. When you drink mulled wine, what is that sense you get on your tongue with the mulled wine?
that spice or that doesn't, or
what is it you feel in your mouth? Because from all the wines, I think for me, mulled wine, even though it is definitely pungent with spice, right? You got the cinnamon, you got the ginger, you got all these spices kicking your tongue left and right, but it's still smooth compared to another wine. It's coating the tongue, right? And I use the term velvet. I think that's pretty good. For me, it is definitely creamy through and through until the bitter end when it just drops off, but the flavor doesn't stop.
True, very true.
So I'm gonna back up just a second, talk about that color. Right, I'm right there with you.
Beep, beep, beep,
Yeah.
beep.
This is like deep brass, medium copper, on the nose. Just like a Tale of the Forest, it's a treat. A Tale of Winter, it's full of a sweetness that's backed by raisins and orange. And I also get honey and cocoa and apple. And that's just on the nose. That's just a quick smell, because you can tell there are layers of brine in there as well. On the palate, this is where I love it, because it gets a little sticky. Like you can actually feel what could be some sort of sweetness, and I get a little bit of that taste of honey. Definitely raisins carry forward a little bit more. The apple comes through, and then a little cocoa hits, and I love the cocoa, and then the barley malt. And on the finish, you get dark. I get dark fruit. And I'm talking about that cocoa, as we were talking about the palate and this transcending flavor. I get dark, dried, chocolate covered cherries. And then the spice really makes itself present, the ginger and the cinnamon for me.
Yeah.
And then the beautiful piece, I love a good oaky finish. And all of a sudden it goes from this sticky sweetness to this dry oaky finish. And I love it. I dig it every step of the way. I agree with you. This would be a fantastic Scotch for me in front of that fireplace. And when I say 16 by 12, I mean 16 feet by 12 feet. I'm not talking 16 inches by 12 inches. I'm talking the big boy, marble or stone, granite, something magnificent with wood trim, like you mentioned, not the fake gas fireplace, trees in there, keeping the whole house warm, fire hazard, absolutely, kicking back with this beautiful dram of Scotch and just enjoying friends and family. I think that would be it. It's almost kind of interesting because there's so much going on in the Scotch. I am torn between would I rather be there with my friends and family or just a book where I'm like enjoying the Scotch and whatever else.
Both? I think you can do both.
You could probably do both, because I'd still be drinking this after the friends and family all went to bed.
I think this is like one that you could definitely like just sit there and like enjoy a nice dram while reading a great book. And I think I could see you taking this to like a Christmas party with like some close friends or family members that you know that would enjoy this. And you did mention like two flavors that I forgot to mention, and I forgot to mention the malt and the cocoa as well, because I did pick up those as well, and you do get those hints, and they're great.
It's more than a hint. I just had another sip, and now it's almost like a slap in the face, and I am loving it because it's married with that dried fruit sweetness, and I'm digging it. It is amazing. Glenmorangie, awesome job. Now we got to talk about, would I bring this to a poker night? I mean,
no. I'm going to be selfish on this one.
I'm not going to be in a rush to bring this to a poker night if it's not to enjoy the Scotch. I'm going to agree with you 100% on that. But would I bring it to a special event with close friends, close family? And mention close family, not just family, close
family. And here's the thing though, like I'd be kind of hard pressed to take this one to one of those like a nice holiday party or a nice event with close friends or close family members. I would do it, but I'd be kind of hesitant. I'd be thinking to myself, is there a different Scotch in my collection that I would rather take than this one?
Arstone.
But if I knew there was going to be like another person who would enjoy a single malt Scotch or a dram there, that would not like shoot it and disrespect it.
Oh my God.
I would. I'm forever, forever unclean. No, just
Stigmatized by that.
but yeah, I mean, I definitely would do that. But definitely, it's one. I think it's closer to my hoarding, and not really just sharing it with super close friends or just a book.
It's definitely something I
winter.
want on my shelf for a special occasion. And it's a Scotch like this that continues to open up even right now, that it brings that chemistry.
Go buy it, people. Just buy it.
Yeah, the chemistry and biology takes its effect. It's the tragedy there because once you open it, it starts to age more rapidly as the oxygen continues to break it down. And this is something where I would love to have a bottle for 4 years and really enjoy it, but knowing that it's not the same and it's not going to be as great. There is no way this would be this magnificent a year from now that it's opened.
That cocoa really hit there.
Right?
And it's even more velvety and creamy. Mm-hmm. Gosh.
I'm getting like
I like it a lot.
I'm getting that coating of like when I just ate a chocolate covered dark cherry, and those flavors are fantastic. What is it about that goes so great with winter?
I don't know. But this is definitely a good winter Scotch.
It's a win. And as Noah said, run out, snag yourself a bottle, save it for a special winter day. Maybe when that next 4-foot snowstorm drops on and you know you're landlocked or house locked for a day or two. This is perfect in between the shovelings.
And don't ask me where that place is with the other 6 bottles.
Yeah, no.
I'm not telling.
It's time for our shout outs.
All right. So with shout outs, really, I think my shout outs, I'm going to keep it simple. It's going to you for your last several selections of Scotch. Not a disappointment at all. No, thank you. I've got to enjoy them with you, and thank you for sharing them with me. Extremely pleasant treats. Sometimes we go big, sometimes we don't go big, but these last 2 Glenmorangies have been big.
They definitely have knocked it out of the ballpark.
Amazing.
Yes. Well, I was going to give a shout out to your son because I think he plays a game tomorrow night. Hopefully they beat Broomfield, I think I looked at the schedule.
He's supposed to be getting over bronchitis. Hopefully, yes, he and his team kick some butt.
Hopefully they do. I don't really have a whole lot of shout outs going into this episode here. I probably have a lot more get it togethers than I do shout outs.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just start since I don't other than good luck to your son. That's kind of like my shout out there. Hopefully he's able to play tomorrow, but if not, hopefully his team wins.
Yes.
I guess my get it together my first get it together really has to be people shopping during the holiday season. What it's like it's like any other day. Even the closer we get to Christmas or New Year's, or even if it's Thanksgiving, to me maybe it's just because I'm single. I don't have any kids, and I don't have a wife or anything like that. But honestly, I don't understand why people go super crazy right around the holiday times. They drive like crap. There's more people on the roads. There's more people in the grocery stores, and it just why can't you just do your normal shopping at the same time, what you would normally do, instead of all of a sudden just waiting until the last 2 months of the year just to go crazy wacko shopping and make everyone's life worse for those last 2 months of the year. So my opinion, just get together, people. Just learn to I guess spread out the torture. I don't know. And then my other one here is this is more of keep your eyes open and get it together, Americans or the world. But the same people who did Event 201, which would be Bill Gates and people part of the World Economic Forum and the CDC and all those people, They just did a brand new seminar, or I guess it's a brand new pandemic war game a couple weeks ago. And if you like actually go do your research with Event 201, you'll realize that like a couple months after that, that's when we had our lockdowns, and all of a sudden they just did another pandemic war game. So I would say, if you didn't like the lockdowns last time, we should all get it together and be aware like there might be a new one possibly coming up here because of this new war game. All right, on to you.
My only get it together this week is for. It has so much potential. It's for the wind farms and the U.S. government leasing, in particular states, different chunks of the government leasing water off of their state coasts for wind farms. The latest of which is in California, but the one that is might get it together is the one off the East Coast, which continues to endanger endangered species of whales. So changing their migratory and feeding and breeding patterns potentially by putting these wind sources in there. And I want to go back to, like, I still don't understand how a plastic bag that can be reused maybe 50 times is worse than a paper bag where every time I try to use it a second time, the damn thing tears on me. Anybody else have this problem? One use. You know what the one use is? You get the paper bag, you take it home, you burn it in the fireplace while drinking the Glenmorangie A Tale of Winter to start that fire. And with that, though, now we're going to save the endangered species. And instead, we're like, yeah, no, go put a wind farm over there and to hell with the whales. I don't get it. I literally don't understand how we are going so backwards in this world. And I want to say, think about when we talk about in the 70s, MIT and the Rome group decided and came up with a schedule for us to be obsolete and not be able to self-sustain before the end of this century. Doing things like that, going backwards in those areas, is literally what leads to that. That is the piece. We are now saying, well, no, we're not going to continue to disrupt the rest of the world, but that's literally what we're doing. So we were burning down the forest to get wood, and we said that's bad, but now we're going to kill the patterns of sea life, aquatic life. So we're actually encroaching upon more and more of the world, 70% plus of which is covered by water. Now the land isn't enough. We're going to go ruin the water too. So just be very conscious and considerate of what we're doing when we start taking those actions.
Not only are they interrupting like the migration pattern of these whales, right? Are they not addressing like the oil issue that comes along with these like windmills and how they leak and all that stuff
and pollute the waters and create sound? Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I literally don't understand how this became okay.
Are they even going to address like how we can't even recycle like the blades and stuff?
No, they're just going to let them fall to the ocean floor and then build a new wind farm while killing more species of aquatic life. Hey.
So apparently we didn't learn our lessons by like how like they destroyed like avian migration and killing birds and eagles and stuff like that.
No, man. Now that we've screwed up the birds, let's go kill the whales.
I'm just making sure I'm understanding this correctly.
Let's just say save a tree. Now use paper bags only. They can only use once.
Here's a question. I was at Walmart the other day.
Yes.
And I saw a sign that said, I think it's starting January 1st. It could be maybe sooner than that. But there's going to be no more paper bags or plastic bags in the state of Colorado for them. Or is that a whole Colorado thing? Or is that just...
I know different counties have been passing these laws. It should be a whole Colorado thing. I am all for it, thinking about how much money retailers, even liquor stores, spend on bags.
Wow. Where has this world gone to?
It's the only way to truly beat the insanity. It is actually the one solution, because going from paper to plastic and now going from plastic to paper. So 30 years ago, all we had were paper bags. And then we came up with plastic bags, which you could reuse. And now we've gone back to paper. The only way to fix the problem is no bags. So
why haven't we like progressed to the idea of like using hemp to make paper bags out of hemp?
So ultimately,
Because it's a weed, it'll grow anywhere.
that's true. But ultimately, the real solution is whatever form of bag people decide to bring, they will reuse unless they want to actually have to pay for them themselves each and every time. The one way to get around that is to have no bags.
So the restaurant we went to what's called a brewery bar 3. And honestly, I guess it's located off of Park Meadows Parkway.
Yes.
And I'm not even sure what the
Yosemite.
other and Yosemite. Okay. It's in the same parking lot where we've kind of sort of been to. Like there's Johnny's Chinese Bistro or something like that there. And I thought we went to another restaurant, right? Oh, Bojo's Pizza is right over there as well. So when you pull up to the place, it says it's fine Mexican dining, I believe is what it says on the sign. So it seemed intriguing, right? When you pull up, it looks like it might be okay from the outside. When you get up to the doors, you're starting to get a sense that it's going to be kind of more of like a neighborhood pub type of place. Cause you see a big sign of like their daily specials right above their door, which actually I think is kind of cool because like, it'd be kind of nice if you knew what the daily specials were. Most places you went to for dinner. And then when you walk in, it feels like I was transported back in time. The place looks like it would be like some kind of lounge or restaurant from like the 70s or 80s with the coloring that they had in there and the carpeting. And I wasn't a big fan of that at all, to tell you the truth. Or it kind of even seems like it might have been a place like you might have find like somewhere off the strip in Vegas. Like one of those lounges where you see like people just sitting there smoking inside and stuff like that. Luckily in Colorado, I guess, they don't allow you to smoke in restaurants anymore. Which is probably a good thing because I'm not sure I would have been able to eat there if that were the case. But they had like this like dingy like red carpet. The coloring or the lighting was dark in there as well. They still had these like partitions up from COVID, which I think they honestly didn't like take time to really install these things. I'll let Jesse talk about his experience with it. So as far as the decor or the atmosphere, it was kind of popping in there. I mean, the people seem to enjoy it there. They seem to be having fun. It did seem like more of like a neighborhood type of place, which seems kind of weird because it seems out of place for it being in Lone Tree. The food I did enjoy. The chips and salsa had a little bit different taste than some other Mexican restaurants we've been to, but this also was pretty decent. The chips were also very good. I did like that. And I ordered the Mexican burger. It was a half-pound burger, so it was a pretty decent-sized burger, and it had beans in there. I was hoping, I guess, and I didn't really ask about this when I ordered it. I just assumed that it'd be green chili, but they used like the red chili instead. And the cheese that they melted on there looked like it was like cheddar because it looked like it melted kind of funny. But ultimately, the taste was actually pretty good. And really, I think the biggest one here was the cost value because I left the place full. I did not even finish my meal, and I actually liked my meal. I thought it tasted well. And I walked out the door only having to, with a beer and a dish. That cost came to $15 and then tip $18. So it was actually a pretty big win in that sense. Now, would I take a first date there? No, I would not. Not if I don't want to get a second date. Would I meet some friends there? Maybe. I guess it kind of depends. Like if it's kind of near where we're going to be doing something else, but that probably wouldn't be the first place I'd go meet friends at. Value of the food, yes, definitely there. So I guess like on the ambiance, I'm going to give it probably ambiance and decor, probably like a 5.5. The wait staff, the waitress was pretty decent, so I'll give her like a 7. And the food was pretty good. I give that a 7. So ultimately, I think I'll give the place about a 6.5. I probably would go there again just if I'm going to do it on my own, just because, and it won't be because of the decor or anything like that. It probably just because I'm like in the area and I'm looking for a good price value for my meal. But I wouldn't like drive out of my way to get there. So yeah, I give it about a 6.5.
All right, I'm not far off. Brewery Bar number 3. So I went with the Monday special, which is you get a 99-cent margarita with any combo platter. And so I got the margarita. Now there is a $1.99 upcharge. So basically $2.98 if you're getting a frozen margarita. So I got a frozen margarita for $3, and then I went with the combo number 1. It came with a crispy chili relleno and a burrito. Paid an upcharge there as well. I got the steak in the burrito, and I am glad I did. The crispy chili relleno was good. It wasn't fantastic. Cheddar cheese, no Monterey Jack, no pepper jack. But other than that, it was pretty good. And the burrito was pretty good. It was literally just a sliced steak. I would describe it as a fajita steak inside. That was fantastic. Even with all my upcharges, my bill came to $22. So value was there. As Noah mentioned, the environment was not super welcoming. Behind him was a partition that looked like he was being held up by duct tape across the wall, and the whole time he would move, and I believe I saw this thing wobbling, and I'm like, do not fall on Noah. Do not fall on Noah. But other than that, my food was good. The service was good. I would call this, I would say it's not a low-end restaurant. It's not a high-end restaurant, so it falls in that medium category. Environment or atmosphere is a 5. Service for me, she actually did really well, was an 8. The food was, and this is where it gets tricky, is because it had its potential, but it was still only a 7. Value was an 8 overall. I'm giving it a 6.5. And really the only thing that killed me was environment. Would I take a date there? I'm not going out of my way to take a date there. Absolutely not. If I'm stopping there, it's because it's a value and there's a time crunch and it's the place to go. Value was absolutely there, but I would pay a couple dollars more for a fantastic environment.
Smarter challenges.
All right, so this week's Smarter Challenge was to watch the new series on Netflix called Wednesday, based upon Wednesday Addams, who's now in her teenage years and going through some of those like teenage growth experiences, but at the same time still being Wednesday. And I think it was pretty well done. Just to kind of give my just initial like snap reaction there. This series was created by Tim Burton. Jenna Ortega does play Wednesday Addams. And what was your, I guess, what were your impressions of this series?
So I'm going to start with Tim Burton. He's had some wins. He's had some losses. Things I think of with Tim Burton is his movies typically are pretty good. A Nightmare Before Christmas, pretty good movie. But he also has the worst of the worst Batman. So he had the potential to go either way with this show. And I was so pleasantly surprised with this production that I think he has found a sweet spot. This is, to me, of all of his works I have experienced, his best. It was fantastic. It was fun for, I would say, all ages. It's not inappropriate in my mind for a 10-year-old to watch, and anyone else can still enjoy it no matter how old they are, 110. Everything about it was great. So he's the director. And with that, you mentioned Jenna Ortega. Really, every actor and actress in this movie, this show, season 1, Wednesday Addams, fantastic. All played their roles well, if not brilliantly, right down to the principal, which you'll recognize if you've ever seen Game of Thrones.
Brienne of Tarth.
That's right. That's a big.
So yeah, to go off of what you're talking about with Tim Burton, you're right. He had some definite wins and some definite losses. To me, some of his wins might have been definitely like The Nightmare Before Christmas. That's one that I watch every year. I usually watch more around the Halloween season as opposed to the Christmas season. Another one that I enjoyed a lot was his version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I thought the way him and Johnny Depp worked together, and they have like a few different movies that they've done, which I think have been really good. But I think this is I do agree with you. I think this is probably one of his better pieces of work here with Wednesday. And when I was reading kind of like what the two, I'm not sure if they're creators, but they're kind of like, they worked on Smallville together. So they also worked with Tim Burton about bringing this together. And one of the things that they wanted to do is pay homage to Christina Ricci as Wednesday Addams. And I think they did a really good job with casting Jenna Ortega and being the new Wednesday Addams and carrying the torch. And I thought it was really interesting, too, that they did bring in Christina Ricci into the series. And at first, they weren't sure if they would be able to get her to be part of the series. And she really wanted to be a part of it because she really, loves Wednesday Addams. And so I guess during the whole filming season, the filming of that, she had just I think she was either pregnant or she had just had her baby. And she had also just had finished filming or was in the process of filming this other TV series called Yellow Jackets. So they weren't quite sure if they'd be able to get Christina Ricci. But I think I was kind of disappointed in the character that they had for Christina Ricci, because I was really hoping she'd be maybe another Addams Family member or maybe someone who would another a different timeline of Wednesday Addams. But the character she did play was excellent. I just was hoping that it'd be more on the Addams Family side.
I can only hope they've written season 2 as brilliantly as they did this first season. I thought her role as the house mother was perfect. I thought it literally, I did not realize it was Christina Ricci at first.
Oh, really?
I liked that. I liked because her telltale, which was with Jenna Ortega, the other thing, they had to get that perfect chin, and that the chin is ultimately the giveaway for me. But at first I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't look, no way, this isn't the gothic chick. But who knows where the story takes it.
Yeah, and here's another, I guess, a fun fact that is probably maybe one of the reasons why I had this as a challenge for us, is I know definitely in high school we both had we both like goth girls, right? A little bit.
High school?
Yeah. Well, probably until today.
Last year.
Yeah, well, I know I still do too, but I any case, so I think that's part of it too. Another thing I thought they did really well here in this series is some of the Easter eggs that they had. One of the biggest Easter eggs, I think, is, and I could be wrong, I don't ever remember saying what state that they were in, but I would have guessed, or what city, but I would have guessed that it would have to be somewhere in Maryland or near Baltimore, because they had a ton of Easter eggs with Edgar Allan Poe. One of them being the Nevermore Academy.
Nevermore, nevermore.
And what was the name of the dance? Do you remember? I think it was the Raven, right?
The Raven. You got to invite a boy to the Raven, which is interesting thinking about that story. Someone's going to die, just saying. Oh, wait, someone did. And then some couple of other Easter eggs that I kind of remember picking up from there is
the statue, right? I think the statue is Edgar Allan Poe with a raven on him. One of their most esteemed alumni was Edgar Allan Poe. I thought it was just kind of really cool how they really kind of gave him a shout out throughout the whole series. Absolutely. Any other Easter eggs that you might have picked up?
No, I wasn't really looking for a ton of Easter eggs, but if you have some more, mention them.
I don't really have any other Easter eggs per se on that, but I did also like some of the musical scores that they played in there. Like when she I think it was the very first episode when she's like going away on the cello there. That was Painted Black by
Metallica?
No, Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones, okay.
But then there's another, I think maybe episode 3 or 4. They did have the Metallica in there as well. And I think that, like, some of the like the music they had played in there actually really fits. Like if you kind of like look at the lyrics and like the song titles and stuff, kind of really fits with this whole, like, I don't know, macabre, or I'm not saying the word right, but
macabre.
okay. Yeah, motif of it, right?
Yeah, macabre is that's a good use of the word and a good description for this. Yes, and the music, just like they really shine in the show, the impact her music's having on the cast. So she's up in her room playing these tunes on her cello, and everyone who can hear it is impacted. I felt the same way in my living room watching it. I'm like, this is fun to listen to. This is something that needs to be that I want to experience, that I want to sit back and enjoy for a minute.
As Jenna Ortega being Wednesday Addams, what would you say is like your favorite part of her character, or the favorite episode maybe, or whatever?
Yeah, one of the things I really enjoyed that helped set it up towards the beginning was when she gets to Evermore Academy, gets to her room, meets her roommate, who is almost a polar opposite, right? Full of color, full of life, brilliant, and then decides that she is going to split things down the middle. Be mathematical, be scientific, your half of the room, my half of the room. And she literally, and quite physically literally, strips her half of the room of all color. It becomes black and white in essence, as opposed to her roommate's fur werewolf roommate, full of color, the pinks and the light blues and the whites, the brilliant hues, the blonde hair. I loved that yin and yang, that opposites of here is one side and the other, yet together throughout the entire show, they work perfectly together. Two cogs in a perfect watch.
I think so too. I think that kind of relationship that they had of going back and forth, I did play really well. And you can kind of see in the middle of the series where they kind of have like a little bit of a falling out, and how it kind of affects them a little bit, both. And then when they get back together, they just make a better team again. And I think it kind of shows, even though like Wednesday Addams is more about being an individual and more logical rather than emotional. And I think you kind of talked about this too when you said that it reminded you of Sherlock Holmes. But I think as she learns to process things as she gets like further along in the series, she also realizes that maybe friendships is not so much a hindrance as it might be a benefit.
Yeah, it is interesting, thinking about different points, different chapters in this first season that really bring the whole show together. Some of the best parts for me were when she was unintentionally standing up for others. So she's got her roommate and the siren who's cheating at the yacht race, so to speak, and she doesn't admit it to herself. She's thinking it's that she doesn't want the siren to win, which is a piece of it. But the real truth of the matter is that she doesn't want the siren to beat her roommate. And at least that's how I experience it. And it's the same later on when she's saving the boy and throughout the whole thing. It's not so much that she wants that she doesn't want to lose or not. It's that she doesn't want them to lose when she can win and help them.
Okay, so my favorite part of the whole series is actually the dance scene.
It's a pretty good.
And here's one of the reasons why, because I think this is important for any probably young woman who ever watches the show, or maybe they don't. or even any person, any male too. There's a quality and an attraction to someone who's confident in themselves and doesn't care what other people think. And when she's on the dance floor, the way she dances, totally quirky, totally like way different than what everyone else is doing. But she had that confidence about her. She, as her roommate says, she gave no F's because she has no F's to begin with anyways. And you could tell that's when she danced like that or whatever. And I think there's like that certain kind of quality where I'm not saying don't give any F's to anybody, but it's about, having that self-confidence in yourself to where you don't really care what other people think. And I think that gives that type of personality. I think people are attracted to, and I think that's good for people.
I did enjoy that scene as well because she was already the outsider, the outcast, and the troublemaker of the whole school. Yet everyone at the dance who saw her dancing, minus the siren, saw her and was like, good for you. They were happy. They smiled. They enjoyed the fact that whether or not they understood what dance she was doing or if she was even doing a dance, they were just like, you're happy in the weirdest way because she didn't have a smile on her face, but she was being her and she was being true to herself.
Exactly. All right, real quickly. How would you rank this Addams Family compared to other Addams families?
Oh, man.
Or at least this Wednesday compared to other Wednesdays.
I think for Wednesdays, even for Christina Ricci, Jen Ortega is the win. She is the best. As far as the other family members, Catherine Zeta-Jones, she's okay. I'll go back to the original Addams Family movie and take that Morticia and that Gomez versus this duo. But they weren't bad. They just weren't sexy. And I think there does need to be something sexy about a set of parents. But what I loved about this piece is this is through Wednesday Addams' lens. And the last thing she's going to see is her father as a sexy Gomez Addams and her mother as a sexy mom. So it was kind of perfect. I mean, you don't want to think, oh, yeah, Morticia, that's my mom. She's hot. No.
True. I think for Morticia and Gomez Addams, I think the best couple, I think it has to go back to the old black and white TV series. As far as Wednesday Addams, I'm going to have to give it to Christina Ricci still.
Oh, man.
I think it's just because she kind of set the standard. And I think, not saying that Jenna Ortega didn't knock it out of the ballpark, because I think she did. I think she might have done a better job than Christina Ricci, but I'm giving it to Christina Ricci because I think she set the bar. And Uncle Fester, I actually like this Uncle Fester a lot.
Uncle Fester's good.
Whoever, I forget the name of the actor who did Uncle Fester, but I think he did a good job. So anyways, with that, hopefully if you guys haven't had a chance or, if you haven't had a chance, definitely give Wednesday Addams a watch. I think you might enjoy that. Anything you want to say lastly about Wednesday Addams?
It was fantastic. I enjoyed watching with my kiddos, Milade, and thanks for putting up with me while watching it. It was amazing.
I thought they liked it.
They loved it. They loved it. And that's what made it so fantastic is that here I am a couple days older than they are, just out of high school. Aiden is still a sophomore and we all enjoyed the movie.
All right. What's next week's topic? And
so next week's topic, we're going a little bit different. I don't know yet. I haven't seen the movie, but Violent Night is going to be our Smarter Challenge. We're going to see Violent Night, movie review on Violent Night, and then we're going to have another one of those crazy coin tosses. The coin toss will decide between Scotch that actually sounds like it might be quite similar to tonight's in the sense of this Glenmorangie had this brilliant, beautiful cocoa flavor. One of the two options is the Macallan, the Harmony Collection, and the other, so we're talking high end, and then we're going not so high end, the Glenglassaugh Revival. So we'll see which one wins the coin toss next week for their movie review of Violent Night.
all right, with that, everyone, cheers. And I guess I should say thank you for watching us. Thank you for listening to us. I'm just trying to wrap it up really quick because we are on our way to go see Violent Night right now. But in any case, if If you watch us on YouTube, thank you. If you watch us on Rumble, thank you. If you any of the platforms you listen to us, thank you very much for listening to us. So you guys are doing a great job. This is once again being another one of our top months here. So we do greatly appreciate all you guys' support. Please like, share, and subscribe. Off to you.
Remember, life is great. Drink responsibly. And as we get super close to Christmas here, remember it is tragically a retail money driven holiday, but take the moments and consider you don't have to spend a ton of money to call your parents, your kids, your family, write letters, do whatever you can, hug, kisses, spend time with those that you love. Great friends, great experiences. Life is great.
Scotchman! Cheers.
We hope you enjoyed this evening's episode of Scotch Hour. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have not done so already, please become a Patron member with memberships starting as low as $1 a month. Thank you, and hopefully you have a wonderful evening.